Hey guys, welcome back to the Hat House. In today's episode, we slayed the feedback dragon. It's not an easy thing to do on eBay anymore and to get some negative feedback taken off, but we did it in this episode. We're going to kind of walk through what happened and why we needed it taken off and how did we finally get it taken off. Also in this video, what about an Etsy shop? Do you think they would work out? We're going to talk about that a little bit, answering your questions and other questions as well that you had, like how are sales doing, and lots of other great hats in this episode. $50 bangers going out left and right. So let's get to the garage and see what sold. Wait. I forgot. Also in this video is our next hat giveaway. And what I can tell you right now is you better be following us on X because that's where we're going to be giving it away. But more details in this video about the next hat we're going to be giving away for you guys. All right, guys, it's Tuesday after President's Day. We got a bunch of stuff going out, but we have a question and it kind of ties into this. Let's get to our first question today.
Okay, the first question comes from Charlie McBride. It says, what are the best and worst months to sell hats on eBay?
I can tell you right now is not the best. So February and January are not too great. After kind of football winds down and baseball hasn't come into full swing yet, spring hasn't really started, people aren't really getting outside as much. It really slows down in February. It's really tough on hat sales in February. And then we kind of have the summer slowdown as well. Everybody kind of gets their hats. The end of July and August, about to the middle of August, really slows down until kind of college football and NFL start back up. And I carry a lot of those types of hats in the store. So those are the two times I would say are definitely the slowest. We're in it right now. And then a little bit of summer slowdown, the middle of July to August, the middle of August is a little rough, but we're feeling it right now. Sales have not been great. They've been steady. I mean, they haven't, but they're just lower than usual. And I know other people are battling it right now. And especially if you sell clothes, it's just that time. I mean, no, I don't really want to go out and buy a new jacket. It's going to get warm here in a month. I don't really want to buy shorts yet because it's not warm enough to wear shorts. Or I don't want to buy a new t-shirt or whatever it may be. And this is just kind of a tough transition time for apparel. And just kind of tough to sell clothing and hats and stuff like that. But it will pick back up. Weather warms up. People get outside. We'll start selling some clothes and hats again for sure. Just got to make sure we're getting it listed right now and we're ready for it. But let's see what's going out today. There are still some cool hats in here. I got a lot of vintage cool truckers that are in here and a few sports hats still selling. So let's see what's going out. All right, first up, going out is this OU hat. It was on our retail arbitrage that we did. We went out, I think we got these at TJ Maxx. This one's going out for $20 plus the shipping. I got it for around $12, so the margin on the retail arbitrage is not always the greatest, but still, it was a really cool hat. Glad I could pass it on to another OU fan going out to, I think, Michigan. All right, next up was this Nike Run hat, and it's really cool. I got I swear people offer low on other platforms and then they'll come on eBay and sometimes just buy it. But I was offered $15, $14 on Depop for this hat. I declined it. Eventually, somebody just came on eBay and bought it for $20 on this lightweight Nike Run hat. Really cool feather light. Had the big Run spell out on it. All right, another great trucker. This cat hat went out for $35. It was full foam. Had all the foam inside, was still intact, good condition, $35. Cat diesel power. Here's the inside, super clean. Here's the tag on this one. It was actually promo wear, so it wasn't the greatest tag either, and just a blank snap. It wasn't K Products or Louisville or anything. Still went out for $35 on this full foam cat trucker. Vintage hats did pretty well this weekend. Another Pirelli tires with the rope on it. Kind of had the golf strap back right here. Pretty clean on the inside. Sportsman tag. Nice little, I think racing started up. Daytona 500 was yesterday. So racing stuff and car stuff is going to start doing pretty good. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I haven't been showing like every single hat sale in my latest videos. I used to go through every single one, but I don't want to make the videos like an hour long. If you guys want them an hour long, let me know. I can show you every Nike hat and Adidas hat that goes out. But I will bring up some, even though this one for $9.50, I wanted to bring up these Bass Pro hats just because this one's embroidered and the embroidered ones do a lot better. And they sell, the other ones sell for like $4 or $5 on the Bass Pro website. I think you can get them for $5 in the store. But I usually just pass those along or lot those up. But the embroidered ones can do okay between 10 or 15. This one went for $9.50. Next up was this Abercrombie and Fitch. It had the big A logo. It was kind of felt, wool material. It was small, medium. It still went out for $15. And some of these that looked really distressed, sometimes they can do really well. I usually start these kind of high in case somebody was looking for that particular one. I'll start them closer to 25 or 30. And then they eventually get marked down to 15 sometimes, and then I'll take the $15 offer. You just never know when somebody is going to pay up for one of these Abercrombie and Fitch and kind of those preppy brands that look a little distressed. It was kind of a cool look, early 2000s, late 90s. So some people will pay up for the good ones. All right, another cool vintage trucker right here. This one went out for around $30. Time to Fly. I think I put it in the description. I'm not exactly sure if the clock is still working, but still really cool. 3-stripe trucker, had the clock in it, had the digital clock right here. $30, pretty decent shape for this age. And these get really tore up and can get smashed. All the hands were on this one, so really cool trucker hat right here, $30. Next up was the Atlanta Braves. Like I said, these can go for $15 to $20. People look for the right size on the franchise fitted, and then the bigger the size, usually the better on these as well. This one was a large and has a good following, the franchise fitted, $15. And women's hats do sell like this. I noticed the ones with the little sequins or the bling on them. They can do pretty well. This one went out for $13. It was basically new. It was top of the world, just a regular dad hat, but women's with the bling. Next up, I show you this one because usually Harvard and Yale and those types of hats have done really well in the past, and I've said to pick them up in the past. But this one only went for $9.50. Took a long time to sell. A nice vintage Harvard hat. I think Harvard's kind of gotten beaten up in the news. Something about their president or something. I don't know exactly what's going on. Maybe you guys can fill us in. But the G-Cap, on the G-Cap Harvard hat, sales prices have just declined, and they're just not selling as hot as they used to on these Ivy League schools, especially Harvard. And we just sold something to Jennifer Lopez. But what'd she get?
An OU shirt.
An OU shirt. I didn't know Jennifer Lopez was an OU fan, but appreciate it, especially if you're watching J-Lo. Give us a shout out sometime. But I do want to bring up Carhartt, the craziest brand, right? So if it's brand new, it sells for $12. If it's tore up or it's stained, it sells for $12. So it doesn't matter the condition. These are just basic Carhartt hats, usually $12 to $15, and I never really mark them down, even if the condition gets bad. I keep it in the 10 to 15 range, and I know they'll sell. And this one happened to be combined. It went with this other Carhartt, so a good combined order. This one went for like $11.33 and then $12, so $24 for two Carhartt hats. All right, next up is going to be our last chance to sell these types of things in your store for a while. So if you have any of this stuff, take the offers. Spring break's coming up is going to be, some people go skiing or whatnot, and they'll buy these hats. It'll be the last time they buy them for a few months, though. You might sell one or two to somebody in Alaska or something over the summer. But this is like a skiing hat, trapper hat. And they're really going to, these will die off in sales as well. So get these sold if you have any of them. This one I took $15. All right, next up was, I sourced this one from Whatnot actually. And if you watched my last video about how I sourced 300 hats, this was like one of the first ones I got from the seller that I mentioned in that video. And I just kind of wanted to test it out, see what the hats look like. When they sent them to me, saw everything was good. And I think I bought this one for like $5. And then I had to pay like $5 shipping. But then this one sold for $20. the collegiate teams on the Black Clover hats usually can bring a premium. If they're in really awesome condition, they'll pay like they were brand new because they just go in and out of stock in the store. Black Clover won't carry them forever, or they might wait until the new season to put some out. So I usually pick up any collegiate Black Clover stuff, and it usually sells 20 to 25 bucks. All right, next up is this Obey hat, and it went out for $23. It was a 5-panel denim Obey hat, had a really cool bill. The funny part about this one is this will be the 3rd time it's going to cross the United States. So we sold it to a gentleman. The post office said he had the wrong mailbox or wrong address, and it got sent back to us. And then he was like, "Can you please send it back again?" So we changed like 1 or 2 letters in the address. And avenue instead of street or something like that. Sent it back to him, and then got it back again. So he finally said he gives up. I don't blame him. He says he gets other mail there. I doubt it. But we sold it again for $23. This was really cool. It had the leather strap back on it as well. It's really nice. Obey hats, like I said, this one's Obey is hit and miss. If you find really cool ones, they can go for over 20, but sometimes they won't even go for 10. All right, the vintage trucker is still doing really well. We had a John Deere that had the foam cleaned out of it. It went for 20 bucks, a nice patch on it, and then the Cat Diesel Power, another Cat Diesel Power. This was the full mesh. It went for 20 bucks as well. Both of them have kind of been cleaned up, and pretty good sales. Next up, this went out for $23, and just this is a case of you have the only one. ViewSonic, I guess they were an electronics company back in the day. It says PC sold separately on the back. Went out for $23 because you found that one buyer that knew what ViewSonic was. If you guys remember what this ViewSonic store was, let me know because I don't remember it. All right, next up was a great Chicago Cubs hat. It had the World Series side patch on the side. It was black, which is a great color. I always tell you the different colors do really well. Side patch, and it was size 7 5/8. A great size on it. So this was a really cool hat. Went out for $20. Next up was the Cleveland Indians. I don't know that I've talked about Mr. Wahoo in a while, but always does really well, sells really fast. The sales price kind of has come down on it a little bit lately, but this one went for $16 international, so they probably paid as much in shipping as they did for the hat. But the Wahoo logo always sells really quickly. And next up was a Burton hat that went out for $21. Burton makes like a snowboard gear, snow gear, and the round circle patches they've stayed hot. They're still doing really well. I see them selling quite a bit on this nice Burton hat. It was super clean as well. Just a snapback going for $21. Great deal. Next up was a really cool Nike hat that went out for 23 bucks because it was corduroy. The corduroy Nike hats do really good, and this was a dad hat as well. You don't see these too often. It was super clean, basically like new. 23 bucks on the Nike corduroy. And it had a nice little metal swoosh on it too. Talked about it in my last video. Polo hats, they always sell. $18 on this one. It was pretty clean. It was on the older tag as well, with the blue and red pony. This one is pretty well manufactured. It's out there a lot. There's a lot of blue with red ponies. You get different colors. The rarer color is harder to find. You can get a little bit more for them, but $18 on this one. I'm happy with that, and they'll always sell. All right, next up is another one I tell you to pick up. It doesn't matter what it says on the front here. The Hawaiian print with the rope, vintage, on the Sansun tag. If it says something really cool on here, then you can look for $30 to $40. But this one was Possums Unlimited Arcadia. Nothing too interesting, but still 20 bucks on this hat right here. And these are pretty hot right now still. The rope hats are doing awesome. We had a combined order. This Kaiser Volcanoes, it was size 7. So they got a good deal on that. Size 7, I've beat that into the ground. It's hard to sell size 7 sometimes. And they got a Houston Rockets hat going out for $25. Combined order. Nice minor league team. This is a great logo. If it had been in a bigger hat, I mean, you could be looking at a $30 to $40 hat right here. But glad this is going out. Next up was this outdoor research hat. It was really cool. Had this cool little neck flap on the back. It went out for $14, but don't underestimate these types of hats. As this fishing season gets started, people will start paying up for these. I don't think this one was the most desirable type, but sometimes these can go for $30 to $40 for really nice fishing hats. All right, next up was this Banger Mighty Ducks. It kind of had the blockhead on the back to spell out Mighty Ducks. It was kind of like the promo hat right here on the inside. A decent condition on this Mighty Ducks hat. Definitely the vintage 90s Mighty Ducks. Went out for $60 on this hat. They got a really good deal. I think I had it priced around $80 or $90. Took the $60 offer and just kind of fluctuates from time to time. These anywhere from $50 to $100. Just kind of how long you're wanting to wait on them and how good of a condition is yours. Mine was okay. It wasn't great. So I took the 60. And another great hat sale. This one kind of had everything with it. New Jersey Devils, really great hockey brand, especially vintage to look out for. It was on the game. It was a split bar or 3-bar. The game hat, which and it was vintage, made in Korea. Had all those awesome things going for it, which is what you want to look for. Super clean on the inside. $50 on this one. Took the $50 offer. Cool little hat right here. Really good sale. Okay, guys, I did it. I did the impossible this past weekend, and I got some negative feedback removed. I know some people out there say you can't even do it anymore, but I did it. Let's go through what happened and how it kind of unfolded. I'll start it off. Mary will read the feedback that we got, but we sold a hat lot. All right, you guys know that I lot up some of the hats that I can't sell. I lot them up, sell them for $20 to $30 for 20 hats and out the door. In the description on that, I always put...
The majority of the hats will need to be cleaned and reshaped. Some will need to be repaired.
Yeah. So I put that in every single listing to make sure you look at it. We take at least 10 pictures of every single hat lot, up close pictures if something's damaged. But either way, if you don't like them, then send them back and I'll give you your money back. But it all started with this customer because I had sent an automatic message now after every sale. It's kind of long. The first part of the message just says, "Thank you for your purchase, appreciate it. We carry thousands of hats and clothing items in our store. If you'd like to combine shipping, I provided some frequently asked questions at the bottom of this email that you can read on how to combine shipping and how we can go about doing it. Or if you don't need to, you can expect your hat or clothing to ship out the next day. Thank you again." And then I add a couple of paragraphs at the bottom on how we can combine shipping and what they can do if they want to buy something else in the store. So he is an admitted reseller. He said, as a reseller, I take offense to this. Do you send this out to every single person that you sell to? I responded, yes, I do. Why wouldn't you want to save yourself some money and try to combine shipments and save the customer and yourself money?
We couldn't figure out why he had a problem with the message.
Yeah, it didn't make sense why he was upset with it. Maybe people don't like spam messages like that. It's not really spam. There's a lot of people that that message me back favorably, like, yes, I wanted to combine this, or thank you for your message, or appreciate it. No, I just need this item. And I get it. Or just don't respond at all if it doesn't pertain to what you need. But anyways, that's kind of the backstory of the negative feedback. And then the customer gets his hats and then he leaves this feedback.
It says, description is deceiving, said all hats cleaned, came filthy as can be, and some were broken. I was able to clean up a majority of them, going to avoid this seller.
I hope so. I hope you avoid me. Because you're obviously being dishonest, and that's why I got so upset. And I am not the guy that runs to eBay Mom every time somebody tattles on me, or I have negative feedback in my store. I think we're at 99.9%. And the ones that we have were like, this hat didn't fit. Okay, it says 7.5, but didn't fit like 7.5. Okay, I'm happy to take that item back. Sorry the hat didn't fit you. And then we have other types of feedback like that. I think we have 4 or 5 total negatives right now. And if it's just something like that, the customer didn't like what they got, okay. But if you're going to put in the feedback something that is dishonest, and obviously you're lying about the listing, then that's when I'm going to have a problem with it. I went through the whole thing with eBay. I called them first. We can't change it on the phone anyway. So you might as well submit the seller feedback. And so I went on and I went to the seller help, asked for the feedback. And like I told the rep on the phone, 15 minutes later, they send it back. Sorry, this isn't eligible for removal. Here's the next step you guys got to take. You have to find the email and you have to send it to the department that deals with defects. They're the ones that can override the other department. I've done it 2 or 3 times over the past year. And that's the way that I've gotten the feedback taken off. I write another nice message to the eBay because it's not their fault that you got negative feedback, but just explaining the case. That basically the customer said this, and this is how it is patently false. Because the second sentence in the description obviously says that you need to review the hats. They could be damaged and need to be cleaned. So to write a feedback that says that I didn't say that is just lying. And that goes, and I told eBay in my email, that's not just against me, that's against eBay as well, to keep up something that is dishonest and doesn't represent their platform the way they want it to be represented, with at least the truth. If you just didn't like the hats, say you didn't like the hats, but don't lie about why you didn't like the hats. But anyways, I got it taken off, and I don't, like I said, I'm not going to call them every time. Some sellers out there make it their life's mission to have 100% feedback, and we're not that way. I'm not going to be that way because it can really be exhausting to try to find every single thing. And 99% of the time, I just take care of the customer anyways and do what we can to get the return, give them their money back, apologize. If we mess up, then I will make it right. Then I'll give you your money back. You might not even have to send the hat back to me. If I really messed up, it was broken, then I'll take care of it. But don't lie and don't make up stories, because that's when I'll have to do whatever it takes to fix that situation. Let me know your guys' experience with trying to get feedback taken off. I know it's tough, and I know you have to go through a lot of hoops and to get it done. But do you have any other tips or suggestions on how you've gotten it done in the past? Next up was a vintage Oshkosh, and I will say that the kids' vintage hats are pretty good. We sold another $20 kids vintage hat last week that had the baseball teams all over and was really cool. This was an Oshkosh, kind of a locomotive train engineer conductor hat, and really cool hat. These do well in the spring for pictures and stuff that kids do, but really cool hat right here. This went out for $14 on the Psycho Bunny hat. Never get them much, but also it was a really good use for my steamer. My steamer finally paid off and made me a few dollars. This one was really crushed and looked really bad, so I put it in the steamer, made it look a lot better. I mean, it's not perfect, but the condition it was in was probably like a $2 or $3 hat, but this one got it up to $14. Now, I will say, if you're selling just like regular Adidas hats, the denim ones always sell faster and usually for a little bit more. This one was $12 on the denim Adidas. They usually go pretty well and sell pretty fast. Next up was this TravisMathew. It went out for $9. It was had a little discoloration right here, and then had the golf course logo on the side. So I went ahead and took $9, but typically TravisMathew is a pretty good hat. Usually sticks between 15 and 20, but mine just wasn't in the greatest condition. Next up was a really nice New York Yankees. This was a 940. Sometimes the 940s can be really good, like on this one. It had some customized embroidery on the side of a rose, and it was a really cool colorway, this brown, and it was in excellent condition. $32 on this one. I just knew that with the custom embroidery They're really good condition. There was somebody would still pay $30 for this hat, and they did. And then also I will say they offered me like $25, and I waited to accept it. I gave it about an hour, and they just paid full price. I guess they were afraid somebody else might come in and buy it before them. So sometimes I wait, especially on these really good hats. Sometimes I'll even wait 24 hours to accept an offer on something that I just listed, or something that I think is really cool that it's possible somebody might come in and bid higher. Next up is Tampa Bay Lightning. Maybe our Florida friends out there can tell us what's up with the Lightning lately. I sold like 5 or 6 hats. Tampa Bay Lightning. They seem to be doing really well. I don't know if the hockey team's doing well. I guess I could look it up, but just kind of interesting that all these Tampa Bay Lightning hats selling. And next up was Iowa Hawkeyes. Vintage Iowa Hawkeyes hat. Went out for $20. Pretty good shape. It was a DeLong. Not the most desirable vintage hat brand, but the Iowa Hawkeyes been in the sports world lately too, with Caitlin Clark breaking the record last night. So it's really cool. And anytime something like that's going on, you see a spike in hat sales. All right, and going out on Macari, a couple of sales on Macari. This is a really nice polo leather strap back, $25 on Macari. This was the vintage version as well. And there's the vintage polo tag. Pretty good condition. Nice leather strap back. Like I say, $20 to $30 with the leather versions. And I would say $15 to $25 on the regular strap backs. And also on Macari, this cool little Ariat hat went out for $11.25. So Macari wins again today for those keeping track. 2 sales on Macari, and Poshmark and Depop got skunked. All right, Mary's going to read us our next question. A really cool one.
Okay, Canuck Girl asks, would you consider starting an Etsy shop with vintage hats?
I did it. So I did it last week. We took our old Etsy shop that had a little bit of stuff here and there in it. Had some digital products and other things that we sold on there. But anyways, I took all that down and I made a hat shop, a vintage hat shop in there. Put up 100 listings, and we've sold 0. We haven't sold anything yet on Etsy. I'm not paying any extra promotion fees over there yet. I kind of want to let it roll and kind of keep it around the 100 hats to see kind of what you might expect if you started an Etsy store with some vintage hats and some trucker hats. I put some pretty cool hats in there too. The prices might be a little bit high right now. I got to kind of find what the Etsy customer wants to pay, how they want to do shipping. I haven't done it in a while, so I haven't been on Etsy for quite some time. And so I kind of need to fill it out and see how you can now make offers on Etsy, I guess. Haven't got any offers either on the hats. So gonna continue to try to keep that store around 100 items. So it kind of can give you an idea if you had a part-time store on Etsy, kind of what you could expect to sell. And I'll share those Etsy sales with you when we get one. All right, guys, some great hats going out in this bunch. We had a Tennessee Volunteers Nike fitted hat right here. Went out for $23. Really beautiful shape. It was size 7 3/8. Really cool hat right here. These Nike hats always do really well. Like I said, the brand new ones, I sold it for like $25 to $27, and the used ones still go for $20 to $25 as well. So great hat right here. This is a pretty cool trucker right here. Kennedy Space Center. Really cool vintage hat. Only went out for $12. It was in great condition, but just really like how this little felt puff print on it was really cool, and a really cool piece of history right here. All right, next up was a North Face hat. Went out for $18. Nice little lightweight. This was the Flight Series, which seems to do a little bit better than the regular North Face. $18, pretty good sales price on the lightweight North Face hat. All right, nice little combined order right here. $40 for these 3 hats. We had a Notre Dame Irish, which was a fitted size 7 1/8, top of the world vintage. And it kind of had this blockhead back right here, which was really cool. Really nice hat right there. And then we had a Los Angeles Lakers 5950 or 950 snapback. And then another Los Angeles Lakers Adidas snapback right here. Pretty good sales price for $40 for 3 hats. Next up was this Holy Ship hat. It was pretty cool. I think it's like a music festival. Had a really cool inside lining in it as well. And then had the pineapples and the Holy Ship spell out on it. Really cool. Went out for $16 on this one. And then also $18 on the Cool Runnings hat right here. Really cool Disney Cool Runnings strap back, just regular dad hat. So really good sales price on the dad hat, 18 bucks. Next up was a vintage 80s Cubs hat. These usually go between $20 to $30. This one was in really great shape. It had it was on the Youngin tag, had the MLB logo on the inside as well. So really cool vintage Chicago Cubs 80s hat right here. All right, next up was a NASCAR Daytona 500 hat right here. Had these signatures all over it. I usually don't spend a lot of time trying to verify signatures. It says Junior Johnson on it. Not sure what these other ones are. But I was bad-mouthing NASCAR in my last video. And then this one sells for $20 right here. Daytona hat. Vintage. Pretty cool with the signatures. Winston Cup. And then one sell on Mercari today. It was a pretty good one. This Oakland Raiders sports specialties. It was just kind of faded. And it went out for $30 pretty quickly after I got it listed on Mercari. It was listed on eBay for a few days. And then I cross-listed on Mercari and sold almost immediately. Didn't know how well I showed the inside tag here on the sports specialties. Had the sports specialties snap. Just was a little faded. Some nice vintage hats in this bunch. The first one was just kind of a bucket hat. A vintage. It was made by Youngin. This is duck camo and can do better than the regular camo prints. Duck camo is kind of in style right now. People are looking for it. So this one went out for like $28 for a vintage bucket. Here's the old Youngin tag in here. So this was a really cool hat. Don't ever pass up these vintage Youngin bucket hats. Next up was a DKNY hat. It was kind of lightweight, but also lined. Strap back. This one went out for $20 on the DKNY. Next up, another bucket hat went out today. This was a pretty cool Vans, kind of all over leaf print Vans bucket hat. Went out for almost, I think it was like $19, almost $20 for this Vans bucket hat. Bucket hats will continue to pick up, especially get close to, in about a month, get close to spring break. And after that, bucket hats do awesome. And I just want to point out, most of the time I do send bucket hats in a poly mailer. That vintage one, I'll go ahead and send it out in a box. Just take a little extra care. But most regular bucket hats, I'll just send out in a poly mailer. And I have that in most of my bucket hat listings, that they'll go in a poly mailer. Next up was McCord Gaskets. Nice little farm trucker hat right here. It was cleaned out on the inside, got all the foam out of it, still had a nice big patch on it. Do not pass these hats up. Take the time, clean them out, get the little foam cleaned out of them. Make them look as good as you can, and then it's an easy $20 to $30 on these right here. Next up, the corduroy hats are still doing pretty good. They will fade off here as it gets a little bit warmer, and you won't sell as many, but $15 on this Meredith Aviation corduroy hat. I think I got this one off of Whatnot for like $5, and then I just kind of had to sit on it for a while. It's been about 2 or 3 months since I bought it, but going out for $15. And wouldn't be a good day without a good MLB hat sale. $20 on this San Diego Padres. Had the side patch 1998 World Series. I don't even remember the Padres being in the World Series in 1998. I'll have to look that one up. I thought the Braves.
In 1990?
1998 World Series. This says 1998 World Series Padres, but
New York won the series 4-0 against the Padres.
Well, it's not one the Padres want to remember because the Yankees beat them 4-0 straight games in the 1998 World Series. But glad this hat's still going out. And then 2 Mercari sales today. We had a 511 Tactical, really nice flex fit hat right here. It was even cut in the back, and of course I showed that in the pictures. But still went out for $10 on the 511 Tactical. Been selling quite a bit of 511 Tactical lately. And then a Caesar Palace strap back hat, both $10, Sean McCarty. All right, before we head out to the post office today, we're going to make sure we let you know that the giveaway winner, Luke Thatcher, 64. I didn't remember the numbers on the end. Luke Thatcher, 64, won this free giveaway hat because he followed all the instructions over on X and entered the giveaway. Super cool NHRA drag racing hat that had all the cool pins on it. Definitely vintage from probably, these pins are from the 90s, 89, so probably early 90s, late 80s. Cool little trucker hat. Going out to Luke Thatcher, appreciate you following all the steps on X. And make sure you're following us on X because we're getting ready to give away another hat over there. I told you the rope hats are still hot. This is a really cool Gator ropes hat with the rope on it, the leather strap back, basically dead stock condition right here. Super cool Gator rope hat right here, trucker golf type hat. Make sure you go over to X. You make sure you got to be following us, and then you got to repost. You got to like and you got to comment. You got to follow us, repost, like, and comment on the post that I make with this hat, free giveaway hat. Make sure you head over there, follow us on X, and enter the giveaway so you can be the lucky winner next time.